Hello.
Welcome to the Munchie Media podcast. I'm Mason.
I wasn't actually starting. I was like,
Are we recorded?
Yeah, we're recording. I was pissing about.
Yeah, I know, but I thought I would just like lead from the energy, you know?
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Munchie Media podcast.
I'm Mason.
I'm Nick. Okay,
That's the one.
that's the one.
Today we're going to be talking about the Batman.
Fear is a tool, but when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call, it's a warning.
I've been trying to reach you.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
Come on, vengeance. Let's get into some trouble.
It can be cruel, poetic, or blind. But when it's denied, it's violent, you may find.
Justice. The answer's justice.
Came out a few weeks ago now. It's past 700 million in box office now, I think. Directed by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson as Batman. We're going to do no spoilers for the majority of the start, but the last 10 minutes probably just go into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
So you're safe for now. We'll give you a warning before we start. Yeah. Firstly, I want to hear your thoughts about the Batman, because we didn't get to talk about it too much.
I think at first I was a bit like unsure about it as Batman because
Like
I think
resistant.
because I think it's definitely very different to the Bale Batman.
Because I assume when you think of Batman, you think of Bale.
Yeah,
Right.
I think of that trilogy, the Dark Knight Rises, Returns, and
I think there are two types of Batman fans. I think there are the ones that go straight to Bale.
yeah,
And then you got the ones that go straight to the animated voice actors like Kevin Conroy
yeah.
from like Arkham in animated series. Like,
I don't know. I think at first I was like, Bruce Wayne seems a bit more, I don't know, timid.
mm-hmm. He's also quite absent from the film
yeah,
in like the grand scheme. Like,
yeah.
I kind of like that he took a bit of a backseat.
Yeah, although I was thinking about it last night, and I think actually how they did a lot of the villains and how it's actually quite cartoony. Like I think Zoe Kravitz is probably the best Catwoman we've had.
She's the only likable Catwoman I think I've had on the screen.
Yeah, and like she has long nails, but it serves as like
It's not goofy.
It's actually like it serves something to the plot, so it's like I gave that credit.
Yeah, because thinking about it, like I don't like any other Catwomen in films.
Yeah,
They're always just played as these like horrible toxic women. It's
yeah.
just, like,
Or just really.
whereas like this lady,
manipulative
she's
or-
like got a heart and she's just got a lot of cats.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think the way they kind of pushed it into a more comic booky side of
well, Matt Reeves
of
described it
the
as
DC universe.
a hyper realism in the sense that like
Yeah.
grounded, but it's got to be heightened to some sense, right?
Yeah.
And I think he strikes that balance very well.
Yeah, certainly. Because like to me, like I said after we watched it, I think to me like Batman should be a bit more like bulkier.
Yeah,
But I think part of the point of doing it with Robert Pattinson and in this way where he's more of like a
Early
detective,
days.
like it's more early days Batman. I can kind of get with it, but still like in future I'd love to see like a bit more like bulked up, beefy.
because I think they've
Robert
signed on for a
Pattinson,
trilogy,
just, like,
and I really could see them doing this very intentionally.
yeah.
Especially because a lot of the recent trilogies and sequels we've had recently, the amount of issues we've had with like different directors on each one, there's like no nice consistency. It's all
Yeah.
fucking jumbled. So I think now they're realizing people just want that sense of progression. And I feel like Matt Reeves, he did a really good job with this film, I think. And I think even the stuff like there's hints at so many things. Like he could go anywhere afterwards because he laid seeds for so many different plot points.
Yeah.
Like future villains, future characters, and also just the progression of Batman.
Yeah.
This one kind of really heavily implies that like Batman is the guy and Bruce Wayne is a mask. And I think we're going to start to see him use Bruce Wayne as like a tool in the future. Because he clearly doesn't care about being Bruce Wayne. He's like very focused on Batman right now.
Yeah.
So I think in the future he's going to start seeing like, oh, I could go to like a gala or something.
Yeah.
Like, because for this he kind of just does it for Batman reasons, right?
Yeah.
Whenever he's Bruce Wayne, it is purely mask.
I agree. I think
I really like it, by the way. Like,
I think what it's really done is it's given DC the opportunity to kind of actually like set some foundations for something that could be more of a cinematic universe than what we've got so far.
So it's definitely a cinematic universe. It's like, I don't know if people are referring to it as the Reversed or something, but because they've signed on for not only a trilogy but TV shows.
Yeah.
There's an Arkham series and I think a GCPD series.
Okay.
Maybe something else, but I think the Arkham series, I think it's going to have everyone that you see in the films. I think they're planning on making it like a high budget show like Marvel's been doing.
Okay.
So it's not going to be like Gotham, where it's just kind of this like very TV series type thing. I think it's going to have like a very strong narrative to it and a very high budget. Like,
Yeah.
which I'm interested in. Unfortunately, a lot of that shit's going to be coming out on HBO Max, which we still don't have in the UK, which is fucking baffling to me. Why isn't it in the UK? Like, just
Make it accessible.
it doesn't make any. It's such a huge fucking company. They definitely have ties to England, like as an American company, and I think you can get it in other countries, but for the UK they just said no, which is just like a whole market to me. There must be a reason, but like DC hates Britain. It's confirmed. Like,
I imagine there's a reason for it, but I don't know. I imagine we can still. Our only option is to just stream it, like rip it off the internet.
I'm fine with it. Just let me buy it. Like, I'm gonna give you money, just like make it available. Don't make me have to get a VPN. I just can't be fucked.
I mean, you could probably rent it from like Apple or something.
Oh, that's true. They might do it through like YouTube or something.
Prime
Like,
or something.
yeah, I could see them doing that.
But
Just because I think they do a lot of stuff through Amazon Prime. To be fair, it'll be like overpriced as shit, but like it'll be available.
I don't know. Hopefully. I mean, you can only like hope for the best that they'll find a way to get their service over here, or that. I mean, is DC only working with HBO?
I don't know, because I
like,
think a lot of it's run through Warner Brothers, so there's a lot of ties to other places. Because Marvel has got it so streamlined and refined now. DC is fractured as fuck. Like, the animation department does its own thing. Warner Brothers does like 8 different things at any given time. The current DC, the most modern DC, BVS, Man of Steel, that kind of the Justice League and stuff. That was their attempt, and it flopped so hard. And now that they've got something good with the Batman, they're now trying to set this up.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, DC on that side, like the main stuff, has just gone to shit recently.
Yeah.
So the Flash movie's coming back, and they're hoping that was going to be like the.
It's always studio interference. It
ruins everything.
Every time the
Just corrupts.
Like every time it's DC. What's the headline? The headline is
they wanted more money and they fucked it.
like director has left or writers have left or have been replaced because of creative differences.
Just seems like a really toxic environment to work in.
So it just seems like the studios always want the final say, and they're just not letting the creatives like push the boundary. Whereas I feel like with this last Batman, they let Matt Reeves push
You can tell, because like that a company would not have approved that film.
Yeah.
A company wouldn't have, unless it was a specific vision. Because like, just compare that to Justice League, it's like 2 entirely different films, like from the farthest reaches, you know. But yeah, like the Batman, I think it's going in a strong direction. But because DC's currently fracturing with that shit, the Flash, they're hoping it's going to bring it all back. It won't. The costume looks bad. They've clearly just tried to pull in older actors for fan service and shit. And then recently, I think you might have saw it on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Fucking The Flash got arrested in Hawaii. And it's like, so on top of the fact that they can't run a company that makes good films, they also can't even have actors like not fuck up on their own. Like, Marvel had Tom Holland spoilers, but that only boosted their sales a lot of the time.
They lent into it.
Yeah, like
sure.
what's his name? Ezra Miller?
Ezra Miller.
He's fucking insane. I thought he was like a really normal guy. I started reading up on it. He's had like several incidents where the police have had to intervene because he just like attacks people. It's fucking crazy. I think he was like just drunk in Hawaii and he just started on a couple.
Yeah.
And then he just got arrested. And the bail was posted at like $200.
Oh dear.
As if that wasn't like pocket change.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's like, so he can just go and assault people and then just be out the next day.
Yeah.
So that's
Likes to be
fun.
in celebrity.
So I'm just glad we can kind of focus on the Batman for a minute and have some praise thrown towards it. The costume. I know you weren't a bulky Batman, but I do fucking I adore that costume.
I did like it.
The head sculpting, they finally done it right. The Dark Knight got really close. To me, it was like way too loud, but they've managed to refine it and also make it work with an actor. Yeah, which is astonishing.
Wasn't it in Batman's Begin where it was still,
it's
it was just
like a
headpiece, which is one piece, so he couldn't actually turn his neck.
Because like now I think it's more of a mask. It used to be a cowl, which was
so
like
he
a hole.
He had to like fully turn his body. Like,
Bang. It's just like, yeah, it took you out of it so much, and then obviously. The Dark Knight trilogy made fun of that. Batman Begins had a cowl at first, so he's really rich. So in all of his scenes, he's hunched in a corner. And then in the second film, he says, I want to be able to move my head. But then he has this, like, all of these, like, moving pieces. It's a really cool suit, but, like, especially for, like, an early Batman, you can tell that he cobbled everything together. It's really interesting to see a Batman without Lucius Fox.
Because I like what they've done with how the timeline, like the time period, isn't really exact because like,
it doesn't focus.
Like the cars and some of the tech seems really like old school.
Yeah,
and the environments are really.
But
old
it's set
school,
in modern day,
90s,
like there's smartphones.
But yeah, it's in the modern day, so it's.
But I think that comes back to Matt Reeves because he took so much inspiration from other genres. So he had like noir detective films. The Riddler was the Zodiac killer, like through and through, like from the way he talks.
Oh,
was
Zodiac Matt Reeves?
No, I don't think he directed it, but he took a lot of inspiration from it.
Oh, okay.
And if you watch the film, knowing the inspiration, like you could see it all over. And that's what I like because it focused more on the tone than the time period. Because Gotham's important, tone is important for Batman. Yeah. Time period doesn't really matter for Batman because he's always high tech or as techie as he needs to be.
Yeah.
So like it could be fucking 20 years ago and he'd still have high tech shit, you know.
Yeah.
But I think Lucius Fox is the guy that gives him all like the high cool shit. So seeing a Batman without that, where he just cobbles shit together, it's really because his suit's meticulous. Like he's got these like throwing darts like in his gauntlets. Yeah, and you can tell he's just like put shit everywhere. There's like satchels and stuff. I love that he's metal, like the plating. Like I was talking to you after the film, like the fact that he's kind of bulletproof. Yeah, like, you see it in the trailers. I love it. Yeah. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. Like he's a fucking mythical creature to these people.
He can take a bullet as well. Like.
Yeah, like in the trailer that they show, it's not even a spoiler. Like he was just getting riddled with assault rifles, and he's just fucking taking.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people, if they were to debate Iron Man versus Batman, a lot of people will say Iron Man because they'll just say like, "Oh, Batman's just a guy. Like he can just get shot." But
no, he can't.
He can't.
He's smart, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I fucking love that shit because for me, it's like the mythos of Batman is interesting. Like the way the criminals see him is this like deity of the night. Like that shit's insane because he's just one guy, but he's just so clever and he knows like psychology, so he can just really focus. Like they talk about the bat symbol or the bat signal a lot in the film. Yeah, and they've really put an emphasis on it. It's not just like a light. It's like it's a fucking warning to the city, like Batman's out tonight.
Yeah, his opening monologue.
Yeah, that I really like that opening. I think it really sets up Gotham because he talks a lot about how he can't be everywhere, and so he has to be clever about what he does. And then it has a lot of these shots on like alleyways that are just pitch black, and like then you get to see like a reaction shot of all these different alleyways, and it's like he's not even there, but it's the thought that he is. It's like. It's just that side of Batman is what I fucking wanted to see for so long. The Dark Knight didn't.
You fear the
focus
darkness.
On it. Yeah, like because he's smart, and I like that. I like seeing a smart Batman and a detective. I feel like in the Dark Knight run, the trilogy, he wasn't much of a detective. I don't think. I think maybe he had like a few moments in Batman Begins, but like outside of that, he kind of just went places and did shit. But like, there's like whole scenes dedicated in this film of him just like finding clues. And it's good for the audience because the audience also gets to pick up the clues at the same time, and then you're trying to work it out with Batman, and that's great. It's for a detective plot. That's what you need.
I did like that majority of the time. I wasn't too sure what was going to happen next. Like I was actually kind of surprised.
I've noticed on a rewatch, it makes a lot more sense. I did get kind of lost, like during the film. By the end, it made enough sense that I enjoyed it. But there was like certain things that I couldn't remember. Like they talk about like a certain fund at some point, and like I completely forgot about it. But then on a rewatch, I've realized there was a ton of emphasis put on all of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's because like, as an audience that hasn't had good shit for a while, I was so overwhelmed by all the cool shit that like I kind of just got lost in it.
Yeah.
But on a rewatch, like it definitely is all explained perfectly, and there's a lot of clues to it. I think we were just like kind of out of it. Like I was just staring at the fucking costume the whole time, like because it's a really dark film.
Yeah.
So you kind of do have to like fucking look sometimes.
It was really well shot. Really well shot.
Did you notice as well? He did intentionally like he had some scenes that just weren't in focus properly. Like whether to add emphasis or, but like it sets the tone like so well. Matt Reeves talked a lot about this film, and he said that he wanted a Batman that always felt out of control. Like he was never in control of a situation, so he's always improvising and trying to like. But he's always grasping and just trying. And I was like, for an early Batman, that's brilliant. Because we all know Batman is this like perfect, meticulous guy that can just take anyone down like that, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of like seeing him having to struggle, but still using his skills.
Yeah, like that was one of my questions that I was left with at the end of the film. Because like the Christian Bale Batman, we understand that like he went to the mountains and like his training came from like Ra's al Ghul and like that. I forget what the crew of that
League of Assassins. Yeah.
So that like that's where he was trained. That's where like he learned a lot of that stuff. But then like now it's like, okay, where did he learn it? Where did he?
They left a lot of it very implied, open-ended, which I'm fine with.
They've kind of done like what they've done with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
with the new Spider-Man, where they've
because they kind of rounded it off eventually, but they didn't
like
focus.
The films have been Batman's been done so many times. Like
Spider-Man, we know. Everyone knows that the pearls drop on the floor.
Yeah,
and then he's an orphan.
They get shot in the alleyway. Like everyone, so they didn't really hark on that too much.
Yeah, because it really does just jump straight into Batman.
Yeah,
which is something that I needed as a fan.
Yeah,
like with a new one.
While I like it, I would like some of those questions just to like
get a
basis of like where we are.
That he mentions at one point he's just like, I trained you to protect yourself. But that was literally the only line we got.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know if they're implying that maybe he was trained by Alfred, but it's left so open-ended that you couldn't really, like he still could have gone to mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm fine with them. If it comes back, maybe in the sequel, like but yeah, like as a starting point for a trilogy, like you've
really
already set the bar so fucking high.
Yeah.
What are we doing for time?
We're good, I think. Yeah. Go 5 minutes before.
That's absolutely fine. In that case, I just want to go into spoilers then. Fuck it. Like, just to give a warning now. We might go over a little bit. We're going to try a shorter format for the next 2 episodes, but that's just to trial things.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're going to do 30 minutes hard cap.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, just to kind of keep them a little bit shorter, just to try it. But I do want to talk about spoilers. Mainly the Joker. Because it was just a deleted scene. He shot the whole thing with Barry Keoghan, I think is how you say his name.
Present. Almost our anniversary, isn't it?
The guy from The Eternals. He's in a ton of shit, but like, because we had the whole 10 minutes where like no one in the room knew who he was.
Yeah.
And as soon as they saw his face, they were like, oh, fucking yeah, the guy with the big nose. Like,
yeah.
So he plays the Joker, and it was released on YouTube as a deleted scene, and they just took it out of the movie. And I think fair play, because I think it would have really taken me out of the film if I saw the Joker. It kind of leaves the end credit scene like, oh, they kind of just shoved it in. It really just feels forced.
Yeah.
But that's like, but when you have the context of, oh, they shot this whole fucking scene with him, it's like that would have made that make more sense, but at the cost of the rest of the film. So I think it was the lesser of two evils. But
yeah,
they've really gone for like a body dysmorphed face, right? Like body horror.
Yeah, it really looks like he fell in the vat of acid. And,
Yeah, like
he's being
the
fucked up.
acid was acidic. Like,
Not just like, oh, he has a big smile. Like,
yeah, he's dead because he's kind of still covered in like scars and shit. But it's more like boils and stuff now.
Yeah.
Like all of his hair's fucking falling out. Like,
Yeah.
I am really interested because I think with Robert Pattinson as well, I think it's such an interesting like clash of personalities.
I think that, like what I was saying earlier, that he's left it a lot of space to go with how he's set this universe up, because like we have Riddler, we have Penguin, we have now the Joker as well.
Yeah.
And like it seems like they're more like the classical comic book versions of themselves, or like
Also with the Waynes, they talk a lot about how they might not be trusted. A lot of that stuff leads into a very popular comic run of Court of Owls, which is like this underground organization like of the richest of rich.
Yeah.
And I could see them totally doing that in this universe as well. Like,
Yeah.
it would fit.
I'm quite excited about where they go with the villains.
Yeah.
Because I think they've really kind of left them a lot of room to.
What's his face? The guy that
Expand
plays Oz, Penguin, Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Firstly, it looks nothing like Colin Farrell. It's
No.
so impressive what they did, and the fact that he was fine with it.
Yeah.
Because like, if you showed that to someone that didn't know it was him, you wouldn't know.
That's like proper acting. Like he's
he's just
in
there
a,
for the character.
Yeah, he's in a completely.
And he does an amazing job. That fucking Batmobile scene. Firstly, if you watch that in the cinema, the chair was rocking. Like the sound design, I thought was amazing. But that whole chase, like
Yeah.
people love it.
Yeah.
And I'm not, because it has kind of everything a Batman sequence needs. He struggles, he's smart, he's then cool, and then he has a cool ending. Like, you know, like it was shot beautifully.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like shots of inside the car more than out. You didn't see much of the Bat. A lot of it was like their reaction shots to stuff. But the fact that it was like a real big muscle car as well, and like you could tell it isn't CG because I saw like behind the scenes of it driving,
Yeah.
and it really is just like so weighty that it just drifts naturally. It's fucking insane, but it looks so good. Again, it's like one of those things like without Lucius Fox, it's not a big tank or like it's just a fucking
It's
car.
not a military vehicle.
It's a
like,
real Batmobile. Like,
How did he probably just went like pimp my ride?
yeah, imagine that. Like he's got like big speakers in the back.
Yo,
like,
you know Batman? I
mate,
want one of
literally,
those.
the fucking theme, the bass. I can imagine him just blaring that out the back of his Batmobile. Like, and it's like, I'd shit myself. If you heard that outside your window at like 3 a.m., fuck that.
I didn't do it.
like me pirating the Batman in my room, like, fuck. Like,
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for HBO.
I'll get the Blu-ray, I'll get the Blu-ray, bro. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where it gets in the future. My favorite characters are the Robins in Batman a lot of the time. I do really like the Robin, like the Bat family. I would like to see them go somewhere with that. There was a lot of emphasis on the orphan in the film.
Yeah.
Little boy in red. There's a lot of shots of Batman staring at him, and then Bruce Wayne stares at him, and it's the exact shot. And I feel like it's setting up the kid being like, maybe they're the same person. And it's like, again, it's like they've not set it up too much.
Yeah.
But it's enough there that if he just wanted to do it, we'd all go, yep.
Yeah.
All the signs were there.
They've left it room for it to expand.
Honestly, like it's definitely my favorite rendition of Batman. Like just, and I'm someone that is really into like comics, the Arkham series, but like if I wanted just some Batman, I'd go watch that film, 100%.
I agree.
I want to get it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Like my flatmates will hate me for the speakers that I have with the, because I've watched it on my computer and it blows the fucking speakers out. It's so loud. Like my subwoofer on the floor, like my neighbors would fucking hate me, I think. But like everything, like I've been playing a lot of Siege. That's fine. Everything that film alone is just insane.
Gunshots are fine, but loud cars.
Yeah, cars and the score, like the whole orchestral score, it's just like so omnipresent. I love it.
Was it a Hans Zimmer? Because he
I
did.
think it was
some of the other DC ones.
I can double check, but yeah, I like the cast and like just I thought the music was great. The choice of Nirvana was a very, because Bruce Wayne was a big edgy boy. He was definitely like emo teen. Like it kind of felt that they just went, well, he's known for Twilight. Yeah, so they give him like smoky eye makeup and Nirvana music, but for some reason it just works. Like I should have not taken it seriously, but I took it so seriously because like the acting was just good enough that I like felt what he was. But like, if anyone else tried that shit with like runny eye makeup, scraggy hair, and Nirvana, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? I'd be so angry. Hans Zimmer, the Batman. I don't know how Google works. I think that's how it works. No, he did The Dark Knight. Hans Zimmer did the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
Fuck knows he did this new one.
Hats off to him. Really, really good.
I hope again they just keep the same people. Like try new ideas, but like the consistency of that director and that artist, because they've already now created a bond between them in this Batman film. So by working together again, they're just gonna know how to work together easier. They could make better stuff. Like the consistency is so important to shit like this. Like obviously the TV shows are gonna have different directors and shit, but like as long as the main films are consistent, it should even make it easier for other stuff to follow. But I'm really excited. It's going to be like 5 years before something else comes
out. It's about time, DC, just get your shit together.
You have such great content to work with.
Honestly, I think DC has some of the most interesting characters on paper.
Yeah, and they're so underutilized.
And even in the like animated DC, brilliant.
The weird. Did you see the Batman anime, like where they go back to like feudal Japan? It's the dumbest shit ever. It's amazing.
It's fantastic.
It's so well animated as well.
Batman killing Joke as well.
That's what I'm saying. Like the animation department, left alone, do amazing stuff.
But then for live action,
they can't seem to. They throw so much money at it.
Like with Chris Nolan's Batmans, the trilogy, those were really good, but it just didn't connect anything into the bigger DC universe. It was just Batman.
It was hype. It was super realistic.
Yeah,
it tried so hard to be like not comic book. This was a man trying to be Batman.
Yeah.
Not the mythical
like
creature.
He had a
of
weapons dealer and everything.
Yeah,
like custom armor.
Like he had a tank, not a car. Like, but like it worked in its own thing. But yeah, he's like a more comic booky Batman, but it still works for live action and adult audiences. I do like a vicious Batman. I like it when he's just beating the shit out of people. Like it's the same reason I get like satisfaction from like Daredevil.
Yeah,
just seeing these angry dudes just like beat up these like honestly, like I might have to bleep that, but like honestly, because Batman, I also really like Batman when he's like so controlled over his emotions that he's like he does feel that ethereal role, right, where like you could say anything to him and he's just gonna have this blank fucking like I'll still kill you type face, right? But in this one we get to see him like angry as shit and like emotionally reacting to stuff.
Yeah,
like you see Penguin pisses him off like immediately. He just starts like lying to his face point blank and he just picks him up and throws him against the wall.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't give a shit. Like he's just angry. I also think he had a really nice dynamic with Catwoman. I think their relationship was because like neither of them are necessarily like good people.
No,
like he stalked her outright and then just admitted it.
Yeah,
but like he's like, yeah, fuck it. Like, what you gonna do about it? Like, I don't know. It kind of giving them little flaws, kind of make them feel more whole and realistic.
Yeah,
you know?
They're not just like, oh, you're evil. Oh,
you're good. Yeah, like the fact that it took him a whole film to become an actual hero.
Yeah, like
before he was just beating up people. He was vengeance, right? But like by the end of the film, he's like, oh, maybe I should kind of be a good guy for once. Like, but like, it's like a whole character arc. It works, and because they focus so much on arcs. Like everyone had a really nice arc in this film, which makes me excited because there's 2 more films of that. Like, what would Batman be at the end of the trilogy? I imagine he'll be just a completely different type of hero.
He could be so good. He could be like, I don't know.
How crazy is it that Twilight Boy is like the best Batman? Who the fuck would have thought that happened?
If he finds like a mid spot between the Bale and Ben Affleck, he could like.
That's the thing, because I didn't mind Ben Affleck in the Batsuit. I think he could have been a really good Batman.
Yeah,
he was just kind of done very dirty.
He was just built like a fucking
brick. He was a brute. Like,
yeah, but they just like his films were so dark.
Like from the get go, they fucked him up, and it's so sad. Because he's not even like a bad actor. He could have been a really good Batman, but it's just like he got fucked because it was DC.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm Batman.
Like it worked out for Ryan Reynolds, but it did not work out for Affleck.
No.
Oh my god! Hopefully Marvel just pick him up and save him like they did with Deadpool. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, you just make fun of it. Like,
Mm,
oh, fuck
I
it.
don't know. I don't want more Ben Affleck in like superhero shit.
Yeah, no, I think he's gonna stay away from it regardless.
No.
But
Cool.
well, thank you very much for watching. Where can you find us on Instagram, Nick?
You can find us at Munchie Media Limited, LTD, on Instagram, or Munchie Media on everything else, on YouTube as well.
You can find me at Mason Thayer on Instagram.
If you want to check my page out, it's Nicholas Diabru. I'll put it on the screen. It's,
Yeah, for the best. I couldn't even spell
I'll
it.
make it easier for all of you.
We'll just put all three on screen.
Yeah, we'll do that. Take care, guys.